The research station orbited a dying star, a monument to galactic cooperation where 17 species worked together to decode the universe's final whispers. Augustine swept the corridors with methodical precision, his weathered hands guiding the sonic broom through its nightly routine. He was humanity's humblest contribution to this grand endeavor, a janitor among scientists, a simple man among the galaxy's brightest minds. December had little meaning here, millions of light years from Earth. The station operated on Galactic Standard Time, a sterile measure that recognized no holidays, no seasons, no sentiment. But Augustine kept his own calendar, a battered notebook tucked in his maintenance coveralls, where he'd circled December 25th in fading red ink. The VRYNN children noticed him first. They were diplomatic offspring, brought to the station while their parents negotiated trade agreements in the diplomatic wing. VRYNN were crystalline beings, their bodies refracting light into dancing rainbows across the walls. The three younglings, Shira, Kel, and little Vorn, had befriended Augustine during his rounds, fascinated by the strange bipedal creature who hummed while he worked. "Augustine," Shira chimed, her voice like whined through crystal caves. "Why do you mark this day differently? We accessed your calendar data. What is Christmas?" Augustine paused, leaning on his broom. How could he explain Christmas to beings who'd never felt winter's bite or known the warmth of gathering together when darkness fell? But he tried, his words painting pictures of snow and lights, of families united, of gifts given not for obligation but for love. "We hang stockings," he said, "and someone fills them with small treasures. It's magic or kindness, or maybe both." The children's crystalline forms pulsed with curiosity. Within hours, they'd shared this fascinating human custom with the other young beings aboard the station. By evening, Augustine discovered something extraordinary during his rounds. Outside the station's nursery wing, where the children of various species stayed while parents worked, hung a bizarre collection of makeshift stockings. VRYNN children had shaped their stockings from light reactive fabric. The Keltorian grubs had woven theirs from shed carapace fibers. Even the Zephyr younglings, beings of pure energy, had created containment fields shaped like the stockings Augustine had described, 47 stockings in total, hung with hope by children who'd never celebrated Christmas, who knew nothing of Earth's traditions except what a janitor had shared in a moment of homesickness. Augustine stood before them, his throat tight. The stockings were empty, awaiting a magic these children didn't believe in, celebrating a holiday that wasn't theirs. They'd done it, he realized, because they'd seen something in his eyes when he spoke of home, a longing they recognized across all barriers of species and space. He checked his chronometer. For hours until his shift ended. For hours to make magic real. The station's fabrication lab hummed to life under Augustine's unpracticed hands. He'd watched the scientists use it countless times while cleaning, absorbing knowledge the way he always had, quietly, without anyone noticing. He worked with desperate focus, crafting small wonders from the station's recycled materials. For the VRYNN children, he fabricated prisms that would split light into patterns they'd never seen, geometric impossibilities that would delight their mathematical minds. For the Keltorian grubs, he synthesized nutrient-rich crystallized treats, flavors from their homeworld's database mixed with Earth spices, cinnamon and nutmeg meeting ammonia-based biology in unexpected harmony. The Zephyr younglings received carefully calibrated energy matrices, miniature storms they could play with, shaped like Earth snowflakes. For the Thrain twins, he crafted magnetic puzzles that shifted and changed. For every child, something unique, something impossible, something that said, "You are seen. You are valued. You matter." His shift supervisor, Josephine, found him in the fabrication lab at 0300 hours. She was human too, one of only 3 aboard the station, a stern woman who ran operations with mechanical efficiency. Augustine expected reprimand. He was using resources without authorization, neglecting his duties, violating protocol. Instead, Josephine surveyed his work with unreadable eyes. The fabricated gifts lay spread across the workbench, 47 small miracles waiting to be delivered. "You'll never finish in time," she said finally. Then she removed her jacket and rolled up her sleeves. "The Antarean younglings need something too. They're in medical bay, sick, but they hung stockings anyway." Together, they worked. Josephine's hands proved surprisingly nimble, her creative mind solving problems Augustine hadn't anticipated. She fabricated healing crystals encoded with lullabies from a dozen worlds for the sick Antrian children. She created dataspheres containing Earth stories for the curious Neiman younglings, tales of Santa Claus and Christmas miracles translated into quantum linguistics. "Why are you helping?" Augustine asked as dawn approached station time. Josephine didn't look up from her work. "I have a daughter. She's 12 now, back on Earth. I haven't seen her in 3 years. Government contracts don't allow for leave." Her voice remained steady, but her hands trembled slightly. "Last Christmas, she asked me what I did that mattered, way out here." I couldn't answer her. She held up a completed gift, a music box that played synthesized carols and frequencies multiple species could appreciate. "Now I can." At 0600 hours, the station's day cycle began. Young beings emerged from the nursery wing, drawn by curiosity to the stockings they'd hung the previous evening. What they found defied their understanding of reality. Every stocking was full. The corridor erupted in sounds of wonder, chimes, chirps, harmonics, and frequencies that human ears couldn't process. Children clutched their gifts, their alien faces displaying universal joy. Parents emerged, confused, demanding explanations. The children spoke of Christmas, of Augustine the janitor, of magic they'd thought was only human pretending. But Augustine and Josephine had vanished, returning to their duties as if nothing extraordinary had occurred. The VRYN ambassador found Augustine later, her crystalline form radiating with emotion humans had no name for. "You gave them hope," she said simply. "In this place of grand science and cosmic discovery, you gave our children something we'd forgotten to teach them. That kindness transcends understanding, that giving requires no logic, that magic is real when someone cares enough to make it so." Augustine shrugged, uncomfortable with praise. "It's just Christmas, ma'am. It's what we do." "No," the ambassador corrected gently. "It's what humans do. And that's why you're here, among us, among the stars. Not for your technology or your science, for this. For showing us what we'd lost in our pursuit of knowledge." That evening, the station's council passed an unprecedented resolution. December 25th would be recognized as Universal Gift Day, a celebration of kindness across all species. And at its center would be a human tradition, kept alive by a janitor who believed that even in the vastness of space, small gestures mattered most. Augustine returned to his quarters and marked his calendar. 364 days until next Christmas. He smiled. It gave him plenty of time to plan something even more magical. After all, he thought, that's what humans did best, making miracles from dust and caring when no one expected them to. Outside his window, distant stars burned eternal, and somewhere among them, 47 children slept clutching gifts that proved magic was real.